What up, you weirdos? Dave here, and I like knives. Here to talk to you today about the Spyderco Efficient, this beautiful little blade in front of us. We have a blade, a cutting edge of 2 3/4 inches, a handle length of 4 inches, a width of 1.5, and a depth, just like many other Spydercos, of almost exactly half an inch. With a blade, there we go. With a blade of 8CR13 MOV steel and handle scales of G10 with stainless steel liners and a stainless steel backspacer. I am quite a bit a fan of this knife. Now, before we get into what's great about it, one thing that I don't like that you actually just saw me struggle with about 20 seconds ago. The action on this is not great because the spider hole is a little hidden behind the scales. It does make it a little more difficult to get in there. It can be done, but less consistently. And between playing with this and playing with my other knives, the inside of this circle is actually so sharp because this is a 90 degrees that it's actually mostly healed now. But right under my nail on the tip of my finger is starting to scratch up a little bit because of playing with this and a couple other things. So you have to keep that nail a little bit longer than you feel comfortable so that that doesn't hurt. See there, you can't quite get the purchase that you need. But what is great is the blade. A very nice leaf shape, a little bit of a downturned tip so that it meets very, very nicely. It is fully flat ground. It's a great slicer. It's a wonderful slicer. Fantastic apple knife, fantastic food prep, fantastic project slicer if you need to go through boxes. It's not a Warncliffe, but it doesn't have a terribly lot of belly, so it can be used for that, used for draw cuts, stuff like that. And this blade, the blade to handle ratio is a little off because of this big old choil right there. So you can either hold it in this grip or choke up on it and hold it in this grip and get your finger around it all kinds of ways so that you can use it in a way that is most efficient for you. And with just the slightest bit of jimping up on the spine of the blade and the slightest bit of jimping down here on the choil, this thing is built for your comfort. The choil where the finger groove where the lock is, because that is the liner lock, and I'm getting to that shortly, but I'm excited. This area is grooved so much that you can either use it for your index finger or for your middle finger, and it makes it darn comfortable. As I've said in a video previous, I can't remember which one, I hate it when knife reviewers talk about ergos, but dang, son, ergonomics on this blade are quality. The handle, go back to going in order. The handle, I quite love because, as you can see, there's a little bit, as I hope you can see, there you go, you can see right there. There's a little bit of texturing on this handle, on the G10, just a little bit of a checkerboard thing, but there is not nearly so much that it strips your pocket. It's enough that you can feel it, it's enough that it'll stay in your pocket, but it's not enough that it'll tear it every time you take it out, which I greatly appreciate. The lock is done correctly. As you can see there, you can see the liner lock. You can get your finger in there with no thought, and it's wonderful. The lock is fully exposed for your unlocking pleasure, because Spyderco cares about you, and I like that. Also, the handle all around, and especially here on the finger ramp, is completely rounded, which again just adds to those ergonomics, just makes it that much more comfortable in hand, especially with the big fat belly down here at the end. It really fills the palm. I like it. I like it. Lines will be obvious with the Spyderco because the spine of the blade and the finger choil all line up just about perfectly, as well they should. So I guess that's design in general. Now, one thing that may surprise people is on my great list I have the lanyard hole, because the lanyard hole is down and out of the way. Unlike. So notice how one of these clips is inherently a deeper carrier than the other because of the position of the lanyard hole. One is out of the way, one is not. One is good, one I specified multiple times in that video, it wasn't built for me, but for my purposes is bad. So there you go. Little bit of a lesson for everyone. And like I said up the top, exceptionally sharp. Exceptionally sharp. I love this blade. This is not my everyday EDC, but it definitely gets in the rotation. A little bit less now that there's been a little bit of pocket clip issue. Getting out of the car one day, I guess it got caught on the seatbelt and pulled back to where it wasn't touching the handle. It just got unsprung. So I had to take the screws out and bend the pocket clip back into shape, but I didn't do a great job of it. So now I carry this a little bit less, but I still do enjoy carrying this because it is still a fantastic piece and a fantastic knife that I managed to screw up the pocket clip of. Spyderco sells this for $65, Amazon for $45, Blade HQ for $39. Excuse me. And I bought this from Cabela's for $50. This is the third Spyderco that I own. We also have the Tenacious and the PM2. And I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm looking for my fourth. Because although I do have my issues, although I do have my issues with the blade, with its action and with the spider hole being difficult to access, with the pocket clip, although that's more a failure on me personally. It's still a Spyderco and it's still a beautiful piece of hardware and still has so many ideas involved with it that I want to see how those ideas are executed on a higher end model. I believe the Spyderco, the Efficient is a budget dice. I believe a budget dice or domino. I'm not sure which one, but I want this in a higher end model. So out of 5 stars, I give this a not quite $50, but if you can find it for $40, don't think twice. It's great. Thank you. Have a great day, and remember knife safety. Yeah, remember that. Be safe with your knives. Bye.